We're outside Madison Square Garden. I'm Action Network's Tim Kalinowski. He's Action Network's Michael Leboff. We're here for the Bet365 US Darts Masters. We're about to head in for Media Day, talking to some of the best darts players in the world. As a darts guy, how excited does that make you?
Pretty pumped. I feel like I'm about to meet the Pope 4 times over.
Yeah, what should I expect out of these guys?
They're gonna be very down to earth, not like your normal athletes. There's no vanity about these guys, but they're just incredible at darts.
Super pumped. Let's head inside before I get a sunburn. We're here at Peter Wright. Look, Michael, he's a guy, he knows darts, he follows it, he bets on it. I'm new to darts. The only thing I know about you is you got the best haircut, and you get a snake painted in, and you get a snake painted into your head. Why do you do that?
Well, it gives me confidence. Otherwise, I'm just like a normal shy guy away from it. So
A shy guy.
yeah, so this is not normally up. Just a normal guy normally, and but that's me going to work. That's me being a professional, you know.
So obviously that's a pretty crazy kind of outfit or work uniform, as you would call it.
I try to put them off.
What's the craziest thing you've seen in a darts crowd, and where was it?
I think it was the World Championships. As I looked around, I see a great big T-Rex going across the middle of the crowd.
Does that distract you at all, or do you kind of
It's
enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. So obviously, it's not what you normally see, is it? So.
And if you went to the Alley Pally for the World Championships, would you dress up, and what would you dress up as?
I'd be the T-Rex. I want to be a T-Rex, yeah.
You said you get some things shouted at you in the crowd when people bet on you. But do you know when you're a favorite or an underdog? Do you pay attention to any of that?
I used to love being the underdog, playing all these best players in the world as I got up in the rankings, and I become the favourite. I hate being a favourite.
We like underdogs.
Yeah, that's the best way to be. So now, half the time I'm favourite, but I class myself as an underdog. I make sure I pretend.
And you're obviously an iconic kind of face, the whole brand that you've kind of come up with on the PDC tour.
Yeah.
Walking around New York City, has anybody stopped you and pointed out, like, oh, that's Snakebite?
I'll just blend in.
Yeah, you could probably make some money in Times Square if you want. Just go pick up a guitar.
It's when I decided to grow all this and to wear a woolly hat or something and walk down the street, and they go, Peter Wright. How do you recognise me? But that's true dart fans.
We are here at Rob Cross, the man they call Voltage. I think they should have been playing Hot, Hot, Hot when you walked over here. Why did you choose that as your walk-up song?
Well, it's, we had a lot of input, so I struggled with like a nickname when I come on the scene 6 years ago, so we struggled to get Voltage, even though I was an electrician back in England working, before obviously turning professional. With the words, and it goes hot, 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 the idea was everyone sings Robbie Cross. So, yeah, it's took off in Germany now and other places. In other places it's a little bit vague really, but yeah, well that's the idea anyway.
You talked about being an electrician before turning pro. What was the process like, you know, taking that step? You won World Championship on debut, but like, were there any kind of moments where you thought about like giving it up and just being an electrician full time, or?
No, not really. I seem to find I could always sort of, even when I was young, 18, I was a decent dart player. I was probably above average, and I could have really done something sort of then to go and maybe make inroads of becoming a professional. The difference was that obviously not a lot of money in life, bills to pay, kids to feed and stuff at home, and I just put it off and put it off. But when I did do it, no, there was no regrets of going backwards, you know. With the year what I had when I first come in was probably arguably the best year anyone's ever had.
And what's one common misconception, maybe a country like the US where darts isn't a huge thing yet? Like, what's one misconception you'd like to kind of quash about darts players and the tour?
The most important thing really with the darts, you know, it's a great living now when you look at that. And we have a lot of scrutiny from the 80s, obviously, when you watch darts from years ago with the drink and the other stuff. Yeah. And obviously that don't happen now. So we're all pretty purist and stuff. But I still go out and you'll get people asking you, do you do this? Is it still like the 80s when they were smoking, drinking? Nah, not at all. True professionals now, and we have to get in there and try and do a job, you know.
And winning on debut, obviously you were a long shot back then in 2018. Do you know of any of your friends who maybe threw like a tenner on you and went along with you?
Yeah, of course, obviously. I've got a really close friend called Tony back in England, and he's quite a big bear. He likes his horses. He likes.
We would
his
get along with
football.
Tony.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
Yeah, so horses and football and stuff like that, and he managed to get me. I think it was in February. He put a bet on me, so I wasn't guaranteed to make the World Championships, but he put a bet on me, and it was 500 to 1.
Jesus.
And he didn't cash it out, and he put quite a few quid on it. He's always believed in me. He's known me since sort of like 14, 15.
Wow.
So he's just loyal to the
Yeah.
cause, really, at the time. When I went and won it, I never see him. He actually went to Australia for 6 months. So the story funny, you know. I thought, at least he could do. I could go out and have a beer with him and a little catch up. I never see him for 6 months. He done a runner, but no, fair play to him and his family, and I hope they enjoyed it, you know.
That's awesome.
Does Tony tell you, like, hey, you're a big underdog, you're a big favorite? Like, do you care about that at all?
I think the great thing with darts, you all got 3 darts in your hand. You know, it's how you use them. Yeah, there's other players out there. You look at the top in the world, their strike rate of it in each dart, in the treble and stuff. You get big 180s hitters. But realistically, you all got 3 darts. It's a fair game, you know. It's toe to toe, 3 darts. I throw 3, they throw 3, and that's what it's all about. And if I've proved before, you know, underdogs can win.
Well, thank you, Rob. We appreciate it here at MSG. Looking forward to it. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful to
luck,
be
bud.
here. Thank you.
I'm here with the world #1, Michael Smith. It's a pleasure. I'm Tim Kalinowski, Michael Leboff. Michael's a huge darts guy. I'm new to the sport, and I'll tell you what, we're big gamblers. So I like to think, well, do you know when you're a favorite, when you're an underdog? Does that matter to you? Does it fire you up at all?
I don't think we do have favourites in darts, yes, and we have like underdogs, but we're not a team game. We don't have 11 players a team. If you're playing bad, you've got another 10 players to pick up behind you if you're having the slack. So there's favourites in that then, where I think this is a coin flip. There's only 2 of you, you both got 3 darts and you both run at the same segment. And yeah, it's the better man wins on the day. It's not who works harder, it's who's better on the day, I guess.
Yeah, you said that the crazy schedule, and you know, if you're in the top 10, you really have no off season. What is training like? Do you have to throw every day? When you're playing poorly, what do you need to work on? Is it just accuracy? Is it pace? What is it?
When you start playing bad or poorly, you just got to keep doing what you've been doing, and it's more mental side then. So I think darts is only 10% actually throwing. 90% of it is what you're thinking. If you're going to step to the board and think, right, I'm going to miss this, you're going to miss. Your arm's not going to do what you're thinking. So you just got to be mentally fit, mentally stable for it. And I go to the board thinking I'm never going to miss, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. And so far it's working for me. And as for practicing, I get in as much time as I can. Like now I've been here for 3 days and not thrown a dart yet, because I can't find anywhere of a dartboard. But when we're at home, I'll do maybe 4 or 5 hours a day every day until I'm travelling again, which is Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So in England and maybe Europe generally, like you can't really walk around without people stopping you anymore. But when you come here to the United States, you're here in New York City, biggest city in the world. Has anyone stopped you? Has anyone recognized you on the street?
I think I've had about 8, I think. Where if I was in Germany or the UK, in about an hour I'd have 100, 200. It's stupid, especially after the Worlds as well. But this is why it's nice coming here. I get to spend time with my family. I can actually sit down and have a meal. Where in the UK or Germany, you're trying to eat and people are coming over with the phones and trying to take snaps of you. And I was in Vegas a couple of weeks ago, and I ended up in the paper for being in Vegas because I was in the pool with my wife. And then he just took pictures of the waitresses in bikinis. And then it's Michael Smith surrounds himself by bikini women. It wasn't, I was with my wife. So there's some places you get and some places you don't.
That's so funny.
And you say you prefer kind of big open spaces and to be on your own. You live on a farm. Do you kind of enjoy like this, like being having some paparazzi about you, or is it something you can kind of do without?
I'd rather not have it, but that's what comes with it. If you're going to be top of the game or in any sport you do, you've got to learn that comes with winning. If no one's taking pictures of you, it means you're doing something bad. If someone's taking pictures of you, you're doing something incredibly right. So it comes with what you're doing as a job.
And what's one kind of common misconception about darts players that you'd like to kind of just like quash right now?
I want us to be in the Olympics. For one, I think we're a sport where in England or probably across the world we're classed as a pub game. Big lads who get drunk and play darts in a pub. Where I think you've seen the viewing figures we get on Sky or social media, YouTube, anything, is massive. And I think we deserve to be in the Olympics. There's some sports in the Olympics I reckon I could do as well. Like, I can walk pretty quick. Especially I've been doing that in New York to get out of people's way. So, yeah, I just want the darts to be there. I think we deserve to be there now.
He is 3-time world champion, Michael van Gerwen. You're an international star. When I told my buddies I was going to be covering darts this weekend, he's like, oh, Van Gerwen? So are you getting recognized around here?
A few times, but a lot less than back in Europe.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the people top and ask for pictures, autographs? Or...
Yeah, of course, but that's normal. But it doesn't really surprise me.
Do you prefer it, be a little quieter around you? You can kind of...
Yeah, of course, I can do a little bit of my own thing, you know what I mean? Otherwise it gets pestered all the time, but it's of course part of the job, but it's also sometimes nice to have some downtime, you know what I mean? When you're having lunch with your wife, you don't get recognized. It's good.
Over in Europe, the venues are a little different where you guys are playing in. What's one that maybe people don't know about that you would say is like one of the craziest atmospheres you've ever been in?
Last week we had 12,500 people in the O2 Arena in London. I think that's quite good. But all the venues have something special. You know, I mean, if you go to Germany, you have great, crazy venues there as well with the people enjoying themselves, and that's what it is. It's a big, it's a fantastic combination in between sports and entertainment, and people can enjoy themselves when they go and watch. And I think that makes it good for people.
If you could sell darts and going to a darts event to an American who maybe hasn't heard of it, like Tim here, what would you say is like the biggest draw, the best part about going to a darts tournament?
You want to enjoy yourself. You want to see some action. You want to see some, but you need to, of course, like darts. I wouldn't go to a sport event I don't like. You know what I mean? Only for the atmosphere.
Right.
Only probably one. What does America got what Europe doesn't?
I don't know. Not
The
much.
Super Bowl, is it?
Yeah,
that's
that's
it.
very
Yeah.
true.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the game, but I would go there for the
Have you ever been?
atmosphere. No.
If you went, do you think you would be stopped there by a bunch of people saying, "There's MVG, he's coming over"?
I think there's a little bit bigger stars coming down.
I don't know.
I know my place. Don't worry.
Oh, you're obviously one of the greats of all time in your sports. You and Phil Taylor. Like have you ever met other Tom Brady's or Tiger Woods types, and when you're in those rooms with them, do you feel like you belong?
It's totally different. You can't compare with each other. Their sports are bigger globally. There's I think you can
I think
compare.
you're being too humble here.
Sorry?
You're being too humble, I think.
Yeah, you have to be nice. Once was a nice moment. I was for the BBC Sports Personality of the Year Awards in the UK. I was nominated with myself, Tom Brady, and Roger Federer. So it's a nice list to be.
Ever heard of him?
It's a nice line to be in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a privilege. But for the rest, I'm just down to it.
If 15, 20 years ago, if I told you were going to be standing in Madison Square
I would
Garden,
say, are you sick? Are you stupid? No, are you stupid? You know what I mean?
What's it take to get to the level that you're at? I mean, we talked about comparing you to all these other big-time world athletes.
You have to be dedicated. You have to be. You have to leave everything, birthdays, family things, whatever, anything. You have to put there. Number two, how bad it is, it's the truth. And if you want to be the best at what you do, you have to be sharp in the head. You have to be mentally really strong, and you have to go for it. And I know I've got the talent. I know I got that, but don't take only the finger. Take it with both hands. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you guys obviously are your rivals. You're playing against each other over and over again.
Yeah.
But like an event like this, where you have some downtime in the city, are you guys hanging out off?
It's more relaxed here. It's more relaxed. Of course, this is really important for us to win, but we got a few bigger tournaments to win as well. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But for me personally, I want to win in this venue. Last year I became runner-up, so this year has to be a step better.
And you and Michael Smith are starting to go like neck and neck. I mean, I know you had that rivalry with Gerwen Price, and now the three of you,
They're not rivals yet. They first have to win as much as me.
If they get there,
Exactly.
and they're rivals with you. Like, what's that like between you and Michael? I mean, you guys obviously have that crazy
Michael
moment.
is amazing, fantastic player with a loads of talent. Only I think mentally he's a little bit weaker than me, so that's my advantage on him, I think. But for the rest, it's their games good to watching. They're quick, they're spectacular, high scoring, and that's what people want to see.
So how do you work on that mental side? Like how you just said,
It's the
natural?
way it's the way how I've been treating the game for the last 25 years.
Do you ever doubt yourself? Have you ever had a time where you
Doubting myself? What's that for a question?
well, you know,
never,
ever a
never.
bad time, like, you know, I'm really
No.
like,
You have to be positive all the time, otherwise it's only going to work negative on your own mind, and that you don't want to be in that position. I leave that for the other players.
as you should. We're huge gamblers. We love to bet. We're gonna be betting on, you know, this weekend. Do you pay attention at all if you're a favorite, if you're an underdog? Does that matter to you?
I'm most of the time favourite anyway. I wasn't favourite last week. I was third favourite. Still won the tournament, so it doesn't say anything.
Do you have like buddies
the
at all
bookies
that?
were sleeping back in Europe. They were sleeping. They put me third favourite.
Michael Van Gerwen, we're here at Madison Square Garden. Good luck this weekend. It
Thank
was
you
a
very
pleasure.
much. Cheers.